Did an error? It said an error happened. Hmm. All right, excellent connection and everything else. So, yeah, this is the 11th week of 2020, and I am closer to my goals, and I'm not closer to my goals. I'm about to go to bed. This is my bedtime routine. So I did my board. Hold on, I can get it. Why do I need a headphone? I don't need headphones. So yeah, I actually did the board for March, which is kind of surprising that I was able to actually get myself motivated enough to do the board for March. Because there was a lot of times I'm like I would look at it and I'll just kind of go like oh god my belly. So I'm watching the replay and I got it. Pot belly. I need to work on that. Well, maybe I don't need to work on it. Maybe I should, but I probably won't. Not because I don't care, but because a lot more important things to me than losing the gut. If I'm strong enough and healthy enough, I should be just good. So what is there to talk about? Well, I talked to Vincent yesterday, which is weird because it's not weird. We tend to talk every 2 weeks and what have you. So I was trying to make it less than 5 hours. We usually talk for about 5 hours about what's going on, what we want to do, how we're gonna do it. We've been talking a lot about like the rivalry that we've been wanting to that we are going to do in 2020. So that's gonna be pretty big for both of us. He's getting a computer for it and everything. So I'm really kind of proud about that. I get my gaming buddy back. What else has been going on? I did the board up. This is the fourth week of the board up that I just did, and I did it Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Thursday morning because I couldn't do it Thursday evening because I had visitation then, which is going great by the way. Sometimes he gets easily frustrated. Sometimes he just wants to do his own thing, and I'm such a serious person, and for me to kind of like bend to kind of be looser, if I don't have like a proper time to kind of prep, and like I can't do it by myself. Michael definitely helps me to like loosen. Michael and Tobias help me a lot to loosen up before visitation, so I'm not so serious all the time. But I still manage to be serious. I think it's just part of who I am. But those are going well. Alright, so I'm kind of avoiding talking about what's really the elephant in my mind because no one else really knows. I had another dream about his mother again, Xavier's mom. And don't worry, it's never perverted. It's always terrifying. It's either terrifying or good, and I get upset that I wake up. But last night I dreamt that I was able to corner her. Not like corner her, but like I seen her and I'm like, hey, I got some questions. I got some questions. And I can't remember what the questions were because there were a lot. Like it was boom, 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 and each one, some of them hurt hard, but that hurt. All right, keep going, keep going. All right, next question. And it was just question after question, and you know, she wasn't mean. She wasn't. She wanted to not answer the questions a lot. Like like you're not ready. Kind of like the repeat of what happened in 2014. But it was good that I was able to get some of that stuff. All like I remember feeling relieved, extremely relieved, and then the dream got really weird. I think Nate was there, popped up, and was like, "Yo, we should," something else. And I woke up, and I was like, "Fuck, that really didn't happen. I didn't get my closure. I didn't get my answers. I didn't get this, and I didn't get that, and it was just, I don't know, just frustrating. So all that happened. I woke up and I was just like, I wrote it down. Virtually what I told you guys just now. And it was just so hard. It was so hard to wake up and realize I'm still being haunted by the ghost. Is what I refer to her as. It's one of the reasons I don't sleep. Because I know if I get, like, because of the board up, I did it, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I thought I was done this Friday, but it turned out that there was still an extra day. And my day Friday was, like, from 9 to 10, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. So, like, it was a long day. I have to remind myself to be able to talk loud enough for this new mic to pick me up, because this mic right here is going to be, is the mic that's picking me up right now. I would, can I show you? It's just, yeah, my desk is a little bit of a mess, but, you know, deal with it. As I try to refocus the camera on me again. Alright. Big D's birthday was on Friday. My plan originally was when I got off work at 6, when I thought it ended at 6, I'll go over to his place, we celebrate and all that other stuff. I think it was actually Thursday night, I think about it. Cause I knew I was gonna hang out with him late because he's a truck driver, and like he's only here on weekends. So I was gonna hang out with him and Tina Mom. So it was gonna be me, Big D, Danny, Tina Mom. That's who it was all gonna be. That didn't happen. That happened Saturday after that broadcast, and it was all right. It was cool. I was actually planning to meet Donna, but she happened to not feel well. Her fatigue kicked in and wasn't feeling up for it. Like she like passed out. Her friend Lisa told me about it, which is weird because I thought Lisa, like, at first while I'm talking to Lisa seemed like, oh, she really cared for Donna, and then like I was thinking then like the conversation kind of got deeper. I'm like, oh, she really cares about Donna. And I have to admit, I was feeling kind of jealous. But I was like, hey, you know what? Tell her to message me whenever she gets up. And she did a couple hours later. And honestly, there's a part when I was talking to Lisa. I'm like, I wonder if Lisa would be if Donna had like DID, and that'd be really interesting. That, you know, she has DID and I have DID too, and how that would all work out. I'd be really interested to meet her alters. I call mine personas, but every person who more or less deals with it, like their own way, have their own names for their own systems. And I was gonna meet her on Sunday because she was over at her folks' place watching her gram, and her folks were going down to New York to get smokes because it's cheaper to get them in New York. And Sunday came around, and I came down here to take Tyler to work. I got new windshield wipers for my car, so that was freaking awesome. I was going to get new pedals too, but then I was like, I was running pretty low on my funds, so I ended up returning them. I finally got around to going down to CVS, and I made Sue a collage of pictures. Because I realized I have no pictures here. Like, none. Like, you know, even behind me. United States, up here is things that I like. Things that I've gotten. There's two pictures actually up there. One is of BB, one of my very close friends, family friends, and another one of Sue. And I realized, like, you know what, I should probably make a collage for Sue, and I made one for Nakoma too. And I think the one for Sue said, something to the effect of, "Never forget that you are loved," or something like that. And I made the saying on Nakoma saying that you define who you are. And it was definitely on the spot. And when I came home, I was like, I should have worded it differently. I should have worded it like, you know, I don't know. I came back home and I said it. I'm like, oh, I should have wrote that instead. But she said that she liked it. it's still in the box though. So she claims so that it doesn't get ruined, but yeah, I've there's a part of me that kind of wants to give up on the whole trying to be a good big brother or friend or whatever. And with Sue, she's busy. With Chuck back, they've been spending a lot of time with his mom because Linnan's moving back moving back in the area. She's actually staying with Nan for a while. Linnan, her two kids, and her husband, new husband, and I don't know. I'm moving myself like Operation Relocation, or that's gonna have to be a thing that's happening. That has to happen more immediately. This seems like the situation with Bobby and CJ just keeps escalating, keeps getting worse, and I is one of those things like I just I can't keep living here. And even though it's gonna be one of those things like, oh, they're not gonna be here long, I'm like, they're always gonna be here. They're always gonna be here. Even if they're not physically sleeping here, they're always gonna be here. They're gonna be coming over. Like CJ doesn't even live here, but he's always over here. And Bobby's not supposed to be here either, but he's here. And it's one of those things that's like I don't have any control over that. Now, granted, I live up here in the tower, virtually my own environment by myself. Well, by ourselves, I guess. Um, but it's just so weird that like it. I don't know how to feel about that, but I know that it's best if I feel things from a distance rather than being in the midst of it. Vincent mentioned the idea like, oh, you got your own, whirlwind of tornadoes going on in your own life. Then there's the whole thing with, you know, Josh downstairs, Sue and Chuck, then Nakoma, Bobby, CJ, and Mouse downstairs. Like there's all those happening around you, and any one of those tornadoes can mess up the things that you're working on. So if you really want to work on the things that you want to work on, you kind of have to like focus more on like yourself, kind of thing. So my eyes were down because I realized, like I'm just talking, but I didn't have the OBS up. Excuse me, drinking too fast and talking too much. Um, so yeah, I was supposed to meet A today, but all right. So I woke up in the morning. I'm just gonna say that, and around 10:30, 11 o'clock, everything just goes like not power wise, but service wise, done. No phone, no landline, no cable, no internet. I don't watch cable, but the internet, like, and I was working on the board that I showed you guys earlier. So I didn't notice it at first, and then I'm like, my phone's not going off. My notifications aren't blinging, and I look down. I'm like, oh, no service. Oh, this is not working. Oh, my Xbox says it's offline. What's going on? The phone's not working. That's interesting. And I'm like, okay, well, I better. And Chuck and Sue actually left. They went down to Bellefonte to take care of some things. And I wanted to text them like, hey, just letting you guys know service doesn't work. So if you need to call anybody, call my cell phone because I'm the only one in the house that has service. Like that has an actual cell phone that isn't relied on the Wi-Fi here. And I realized I couldn't send out text messages. Like even my own cell phone wasn't working. I'm like, this is really weird. If this is a zombie apocalypse or any kind of apocalypse of any sorts, this is gonna go down. PDQ. I better start figuring things out. Turns out that it was like a area wide thing. Like the town that I currently live in, services were not working. The town over services weren't working either. I had a meeting with A around 4, around the same time Tyler had to go to work, and I was on one around to take him to work. So I tried to take him to work. Oh, actually, I tried to wait for A. A didn't show up. I'm like, I gotta take Tyler to work. So I took Tyler to work, and when I left the area of like my own hometown, I was starting to get service like in between areas, and she was like, "Well, I didn't hear from you, so I'm assuming that you weren't really up for our meeting today. So, And we'll just meet again on Friday. And I try to call back like, yeah, hey, if you still happen to be in the area, it'd be nice if you could just kind of like drop by, check to see how things are. Let me give you some updates and downloads. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear from you, so I already clocked out. Um, we can meet tomorrow. I'm like, it's not really that big of a deal. I really don't have much to really update on. Um, we can meet Friday, not a problem. It's not like I have the board up because that's done now. My Fridays and weekends are now free. He says, no, don't worry. I'll meet you tomorrow. So we're meeting tomorrow. I'm meeting my representative from Sam's tomorrow as well, Jason, hopefully. Last weekend we were supposed to meet, but apparently he hurt himself, like his knees were acting up or whatever, and we scheduled for tomorrow. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna meet up with Jason. Then after that, I'm gonna meet up with A, and then after that, take Tyler to work, and then get ready for visitation. Um, there was something else I wanted to bring up. Donna, actually, I was talking about Donna. It's all mixed up, so just try to follow with me. So, um, obviously not having service, I couldn't really talk to Donna, and it's not like Donna really like opens communication. Matter of fact, me and Vincent were talking about Donna, and I actually decided to like look into um, some of her conditions, and she has a lot of conditions, but like he was like, "Oh, so why are you adding another whirlwind to your already multiple whirlwinds?" I'm like, if people looked at me and were like, "Okay, well, what is Nick?" And I'm like, I wrote down. I said, "Okay, well, I have the ID," so that's already a confusing whirlwind in itself. I am extremely and not just because of the ID. I also have schizophrenia. I also have depression. I suffer from mild to severe depression given the time, given the persona. I also have paranoid schizophrenia. So antisocial behaviors are it kind of comes with the territory. So like when someone looks at me and looks at all those things, and be it as it may, I am black and a predominantly white county. So all that is kind of like, oh, who's really gonna give me the time of day? And if I want people to change their behavior, if I want people to give me a chance to allow me to show them that I'm more than what these things are, I have to be able to do the same thing too. So regardless of what all things that she has, if she's still a nice person to me, I'm not gonna not be nice to her. I'm not gonna not talk to her. I'm not gonna not try to find out more and just try to be a human, I guess. I don't know. And he was like, I'm not trying to say you shouldn't be a human. I'm like, I know what you're trying to say. I understand what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that um, if I want people to look at me differently, I cannot be a hypocrite and be like, well, I'm gonna only have certain qualifications here. If you don't fit if you don't fit in the box, we don't talk. Jeez, my eyes again. It's because it's late again, and for the past couple of days, I've actually been sleeping. I come home from work and go like more or less go to bed. Um, so I definitely, and me and Donna keep talking, which is good. Like I like talking to Donna, but I do feel that with Donna, it's a lot of I am trying to grab conversations. I'm trying to grab her attention, and she's not trying to like dodge me like Natasha like was and is. Like matter of fact, what was it? It was Sunday. Sunday, Natasha was like, "Hey, I'm going out. I'm gonna go out for a little bit, get something to eat, get something to drink." And I'm like, "You know what? I'm out and about. I just came back from Clearfield to pick up Tyler to take him to work. I'm kind of just killing time until I have to pick him up from work. Do you want to eat and drink together and just talk, do what we do online?" And she literally is like a couple blocks away, and she's like, "I kind of want to be alone." And I was just like, okay, kicking the balls there, but okay, it's whatever. It's whatever. If that's how you want to do it, if you want to be alone, cool. I'm not gonna give myself too much headache on that. You told me that you want to do you right now. That's cool. That's fine. Do you? You don't need me. You don't need me to do you. So get back to me whenever you get your head out of your ass, kind of thing. So, um, what else is there? I'm not sure if I ever mentioned. A couple weeks ago, I was talking to an ex-employee of Magnum who happened to way back when be part of like a family friend here to the Myers, and she actually dated Bobby for a little bit, and then didn't just didn't, and which is kind of per se with like Bobby's relationships, and that was like a couple years back, and I just happened to find her on Facebook. I'm like, hey, how you doing? It's been a while. How you? How's your daughter? At the time, it was just one. Now she has like two more. One's really young, and it's like, congratulations and everything. And we were talking. It was going pretty well, and then it was one day. It was just kind of like, you know what? She messaged me saying like, I'm tired of texting. Um, I got other things to worry about. Just that whatever. And I'm just kind of like, okay, that's a fuck you to me. So I'll just move on forward. And I had other things I needed to take care of. The Magnum thing, obviously, the things that I want to take out, the second chance gaming and everything else, which is really hard to. It was really hard to do with like. I, it was mostly my fault. I'd wait until like Friday or Thursday to try to do it. And I'm like, oh, I'm so packed with everything else that I'm trying to do. Um, so like yeah, that last weekend I didn't do. I wasn't able to do any of the Detroit Become Human things. So this week I am gonna do that, and I think tomorrow I'm gonna start actually like sharing more of what I did, like my last three videos. That way I can still get them to get at least 10 views. It seems weird. I shouldn't really have to struggle to get 10 views, but like maybe I am just doing it all wrong. And I do realize that like a lot of my videos I'm doing it differently. Not on purpose. Like I will forget the volume configuration, so I'm just like writing. I'm like, okay, it sounds good in the headphones, and then when I play it, whenever it gets played back, whenever I'm finished with the editing and everything else, everything else like that, I'm like, oh wow, the gaming audio is different from my audio, and I can't separate it because it made it into one file. So like, oh crap, that sucks. And then the next video will be good, and like oh, the volumes are good, and the next thing will be like, oh, my volume's way high and the game volume's way low. And like that kind of inconsistency, I can understand. It'll be very frustrating to anybody who's trying to listen. So I understand that. And apparently, I don't even have 10 friends that are willing to look at my videos. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, yeah, I'll take a look at it. Yeah, I'll get right on that. I'm like, yeah, that's people though. You know, I've learned throughout the years that people aren't reliable. Anyway, about Carrie. Um, so today Carrie actually messaged me out the blue, like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, I shouldn't. I shouldn't reply. I should just let this just die out. I should just let this like disappear because she was willing to do that, weeks ago. Why should I make the effort? And I realized that the message I sent her after she said what she said in text message, like, I don't want to text and everything else. I did reply with, if you ever need someone to talk to, you know, we'll talk. I'll be a good friend. So I remembered that. I'm like, okay, well, I can talk to her on that basis. I can talk to her in the idea that, okay, well, we are still friends. Um, and I know that she has her own things that she's like 3 kids by herself because, baby daddies ain't shit. And I'm trying to not be it, I'm and I understand I say that knowing that I'm also currently a baby daddy. Granted, I am not a baby daddy because I was actually married whenever my son was born. Regardless though, like I am that right now. So like understand I know that, but like with other people's situations, they're like, yeah, I met this guy, we were dating for a while, I got pregnant, and he was like, I'm out, dipped harder than like, chips, so I understand that she's going through a lot. Her one daughter is like 18 or turning 18, so she has her own attitude about things. Her other daughter's like 11, and her other one's, your youngest one's like, I think, one or under. So, like, she has a lot trying to figure it out. And, being a single mom, trying to still find work, trying to still be able to raise 3 kids, still trying to, figure out how life is supposed to work. So, like, I definitely get that. So, we talked a little bit, and I was like, what you said last time, because like I don't want to hide things from people. Like if people go like Example, I was talking to Kitty and she was like, well, there's a lot of times that you frustrate me, but I cover it. I'm like, don't cover it. If you're pissed off at me, let me know. If you don't let me know, I'm going to think it's normal. I'm going to continue on with normality like that. Um, so yeah, don't do that. And I guess I realized if I want people to be upfront with me, I gotta be upfront with people. So I said, yeah, what you did to me really hurt me, really bothered me, but I allowed it to go. Like, you wanted to drop it, I let it drop. She's like, yeah, I know. I feel sorry. I feel real bad. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm still, if you still need someone to talk to, I'm here. And we talked a little bit, but I'm constantly doing things. I can't just look at my phone kind of thing. It'll bling, and I'm like, okay, I'll get to it when I get to it. And she does have a tendency of doing the same thing that Tammy did way back when. Whenever she would message me about Tyra, and I'm like, okay, I'll send her a message, and I'll do something, and then I'll look back at my phone and there's like 20 messages from Tammy within like 5 minutes. I'm like, and it always ends like, okay, I guess you're busy. Good night. I'm like, it's five. It's five. Call me shit. But like, it is what it is, and people are what they are. Vincent was telling me that I shouldn't try to overexert myself. Do what I feel I can do and still be able to sleep at night, kind of thing. Even though I don't, because of the ghost and everything else like that. Being Xavier's mom, in case some of you guys weren't listening. um, I talked to Donna earlier, but I didn't talk to her again. Well, the last thing I said to her is like, "Hey, let me know if I can call you later on tonight because I really want to talk to somebody. Like, I want to be able to connect with somebody else, and I don't want to. It's hard for me to even like deal with Nakoma right now, so I'm not really talking to her. Bobby and CJ are on their own shit, and as much as Josh and me are pretty close, like we don't really talk about personal stuff. We just kind of hang out, I guess. And I really figured that maybe finding somebody to just talk to would be very helpful for me, healthy for me even. I don't know. But Donna didn't reply, and I need to remind myself constantly: do not push myself onto other people. Do not be like, hey, or else I end up being what I dislike. People who send 20 messages in like 5 minutes. I'll send one. I might send two, and then something happens, like something else happens, like three. But like if I don't hear something by three, I'm like, all right, back off, do something else. Don't even worry about it. Move on. What else has been going on? I mailed out the certificate of service last week, like Monday, Tuesday, I think, and I meant to call the courthouse to confirm that they got it, and I couldn't call nobody because the service didn't come back online anywhere. Like especially at our house, it was supposed to come back around like 3:36. Is what the Xfinity people said whenever Chuck called. Like, oh yeah, it'll get kicked on around then. It didn't get kicked on until like 6:30. So surprise. So I wasn't able to call them. So I'm gonna call them tomorrow. Probably gonna call them tomorrow whenever I have my meeting with A. With Jason tomorrow, I'm going to talk about my finances, which means I need to print that out in the morning. I did it already. I did like 2 weeks ago. I did pretty well. I think. Um, Last week, well, no, what was it? Friday? No, it might have been Thursday. Thursday, I opened up an account because I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but like the week prior, I got my check from Magnum for doing the broadcast for the first 2 weeks, and Chuck didn't get his check from Magnum. He got his check from everybody else, but not Magnum. And the boss from Magnum gave him his word, like, yeah, I'll get your check ready. And actually, the boss didn't give me my check. His wife, which is the general manager, gave me my check because she's the one who more or less hired me for this gig. So she was able to get that for me. But whenever Chuck didn't get his, I'm like, look, let me help you out. Here's this check. Um, if you need to take it, if you don't, let me keep it and let me cash and let me continue on with it. And he took it. Now he took it like, let me pull up a calendar. so you understand like why I was a little bit like perturbed. Um, I handed it to him like I want to say like the 2nd of March. Sorry, no, the 29th, the 29th of February, and he gave it to me like the 5th of March, and I'm like, I could have used that money. There were a lot of things I had to wheel and deal between that one week. I was like, whatever. I got the check now. I can't change what he should have done. That's just a lesson for me. So I try to cash it at the bank that the check was issued from, and they're like, we can't cash this check. I'm like, okay, cool. I waited a week, and now they don't have funds to be able to pay me. That sucks. Um, so I text the boss, and then I went to the local bank in my town and opened up an account using the check. Waited a couple days, didn't get any kind of red flags. So I'm like, okay, the boss took care of it. I can now use it. I gave my granddad $100 from the previous job we did in like October, November. So he got paid for that. Um, I used the rest of the money for food, gas, and buying my windshield wipers. Once again I had enough money and to get for Sue and Nakuma. I was going to get myself those brakes, but no, not brakes. Pedals, new pedals. It was going to be silver, blue, and neon blue. And I was like, oh, those are going to look hot on my like in the inside. But I realized the inside of my car was dirty. So today I actually cleaned out the back of my car. I need to go down to some kind of like car wash and suck up all like the gravel and stuff that comes in from like you know I live in the country. Gravel's everywhere. So I want to clean that up. Maybe if not this weekend, maybe the next. I should be getting another check either the end of this week or next week. Like this Friday coming up, which is also Mouse's birthday. I think she said she's gonna be like 60 something, maybe. I think she's wrong. Cause like my granddad, he's like freaking, he's over 50, but like he's pushing it. He if he can do something, he'll do it. His back gives him a lot of problems. And like whenever like we have to tell him like, look, if you need help, call me. I'll do my best to be there for you. He also got a son that's nearby and everything else like that. I guess my uncle. So like so for her to say like she's 60 and like we have to kind of more or less take care of her, or my granddad's like, I can do this myself. Get off me. Like me and my granddad, like we're not connected by blood, but we are so alike. Like we always talking about like people are always trying to find like ways to get out of work, and we're like, give us job. Like we'll we'll do stuff. Stop doing stuff for us. We're not handicapped. We're not hopeless. We're not helpless. Let us do stuff. So like he's trying to do stuff, even though he's limited with his back pain, but he's not overdoing it so he hurts himself. And I know that he can't do regular stuff, but he still tries like I do. And whenever there's a job, like in the past, whenever it was CJ or Bobby, they'd be like, well, we're out, or we're taking 15, 30 minute smoke breaks. I'm like, I don't smoke until I'm done. I'm not done until the job's done. you know, at least until someone's like, okay, let's take a break. I'm like, all right, I'll take a break after what I'm doing right now is done. And granddad's like the same way. So, we're just kind of alike in that way, and we bond alike. Me and him talk a lot. Like, I think me and him talk more than like him and his son. I think. Um, I don't know. It's just I know not everybody's good. Not everybody's good. Matter of fact, Tyler, I'm jumping things, but like one day I was taking Tyler either to or from work, and he was talking about mom too, and he was like, yeah, mom has had a long lineage of asshole boyfriends, and I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, but like that's everybody. You don't have a lot of good relationships. You have a lot of crappy ones, and you find the one good one, and you stick with it. I'm like, all right, yeah, that makes sense. Kind of makes me kind of think about, okay, well, maybe in a way that must, hopefully that means that maybe I might get my stride. I don't know, not my stride. What's the word? Um, I'm gonna get lucky and actually find somebody who's willing to deal with my whirlwind of chaos that I'm trying to organize. Last week I also bought. All right, my friend Caitlin has a daughter named Opal, and she is in the Girl Scouts and was selling cookies. I told Sue, she's like, "Oh yeah, I want to get this, I want to get that." So I'm like, "Okay," I told my friend, "Okay, order these things," and we were going. I want I words. I wanted to go give her the money. Sue and Chuck weren't around. I'm like, I don't got much time to wait for them, so I'm just gonna go down and pay for it, and Sue can just pay me back later. And it was one of those times that like that check would have been really useful. So like I'm scrapping together quarters and nickels and dimes to come up with like what $24, which I had on my card, but ATMs only take out increments of like 20. I had $40 left on my card. It was like 34 something something. So I could take out the 20, and I had to get everything else and nickel and dimes on the floors and shit. So that was fun. What else is there to talk about? I see my OVR person on Wednesday. I won't have A with me. So it's just gonna be me or us. It's gonna be us because every time we go down to see Sherry, James, pops up like, "Yo, what's up? How you doing? It's been a while." How, and it ends up being like a slight flirt fest. I'm like, "Hey, focus, focus, focus. We got work to do." And she handles it pretty well. It's like, "Yeah, we got work to do. I do appreciate, but not interested. We got things that need to take care of." And James was like, "Oh, I'm just trying to be nice. I ain't trying to make anybody feel uncomfortable. It's ridiculous. It's like having that one brother that like hits on everything." um, but we're gonna talk about the whole CPS thing. I'm looking forward to that meeting particularly. Because it's gonna be a way. I keep saying that, okay, for you to be a CPS through OVR, you have to do the PWAP program. It's the Personal Work Adjustment Program. And with the Personal Work Adjustment Program, they have you work at Goodwill, in this area anyway, for a certain period of time, 20 days. We made it 12 before Goodwill was like, "We can't have you back." We can't have you back. There's a lot of stuff that happens. And I'm like, well, but you have us in an environment where it's not flexible. You have us in an environment where it doesn't work. Like, you don't give us our own space. We're constantly doing, like, when we're done with one job, we have to immediately switch over to another job. It's not like there's any kind of break period in between. No recollections, like, no regrouping. Sorry, there's no regrouping process there. So going back to Sherry is like, you this Goodwill thing is not a job that we can do. And she's like, "Well, you have to be able to at least do 20 days so that we can evaluate that." I'm like, "Look, we can do work. We can. You just has to be a Pacific thing." like with the Magnum thing. They put us in the studio and they go, "Okay, do this, do this, do this." And it's from this to this. And there are breaks. Like, for instance, when I did the board up, it's not like when I said we work from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. It's like 9 a.m. to like 1. And then 1, then there's a break between 1 and 2, then 2 to 4, and then between 4 and 6 there's another break, and then 6 to 10. So there's breaks in between, and we don't have someone over looking over our shoulders like, hey, you doing that? You got, it's not that. It's like, okay, you know what you need to do, take care of it. And it's like, all right, cool, we'll take care of it. And we do a pretty good job at it. Matter of fact, we do such a good job that the guy who does the live broad, it was wrestling for the past, once again, drinking this too fast, and talking a lot. The guy who's on the other end, who does the live events, Todd, he was like, "Yeah, can you get Nick and his people to do the board up, because they seem to just do it really well, and they do minimal fuck ups." He doesn't say minimal fuck ups, but I'm pretty sure like there are times that he's like, "I don't hear anything about mic." I'm like, "Oh, okay, so it's running in the air. I just didn't put on the mic. Boom. All right, mic." Like, he can hear it now, even though it's not like it's on the air. It's complicated. I don't know how to explain it. I just know that we do it. and I'm glad that they give us that opportunity. So, um, but with the CPS thing, even Drew said like, "Hey, are you sure you can do something like this?" Especially with the whole, OVR, PWP, PWAP, Goodwill thing not necessarily working out. I'm like, if you put a person in the wrong job, they're not gonna do that job well. If you put somebody in the right job, they will do that job fantastically. Give us the opportunity to do the right job fantastically, and we will do it fantastically. Plus 10. We can do this job. And I really think that being a CPS is something that we can do. Our skill sets will be able to adjust to that. And I think that being able to help other people, yeah, I think that's exactly what needs what we not what we all want to do. What I kind of want to do, since I can't be a cop, I can't be a soldier. There's no such thing as community watch around here. And I don't know. It'll make me feel that I'm actually doing something good for the world. I'm not saving the world from any kind of event or uh, planet-ending catastrophe, or even continental ending event kind of thing. So I really do believe. Oh, she did message me back. Sorry, Kitty. I was like, hey, you want to play Grand Theft Auto? I fell asleep. Oops. Um. Well, if you are tired, we can regroup tomorrow. Okay? Sometime tomorrow. Me and Kitty have been playing Grand Theft Auto lately, and when I play Grand Theft Auto, I got a business. Like, I got a couple businesses. I sell cars. I forge documents and sell them out, and I sell product. No drugs. I don't do the weed thing. I don't do the meth thing. I don't break people's kneecaps. I just the documents. Oh, and gun running now. We're currently doing gun running because I really just want the mobile command center. Once I get that mobile command center, everything else can go off to the wayside. But I'm currently working on that, and that's like a $2 million purchase. I'm trying to get that legit. So, I gotta put the work in. um, Actually, now that earlier I was thinking about the idea of grind. I think whenever I was playing on the PC with Vincent, Joe, and WSD, Vince was like, "Oh, there's so much work you gotta do to get money." I'm like, "Yeah, that's kind of how life works, man. Like, if you want something, you gotta work for it." Like, yeah, but like, I'm like, no. Like, in everything that you want, there has to be a certain level of grind. When you're in school, you grind to study to get to get good marks. When you're at work, you grind well to get that paycheck and to keep your job because everything's competitive. Even in the social aspect, if you're trying to get a girlfriend, boyfriend, what have you, um, you have to kind of like work on yourself. You have to work on a relationship. It's a constant grind. Life is a grind. It's like, yeah, that's life. Life's already a grind. Why do I want to add more grind to it? I'm like, hey, if you want something, you grind for it. If you don't want it, you don't grind for it. Let somebody else who's able to get the job done get the job done. So, like, that's kind of like my mentality when it comes to a lot of things. Like, if you want something, work for it. Because something is because when things are just handed to you, it means nothing. Not a damn thing. If someone's like, okay, here, just have this, $10 million. It's like, oh, cool. I'm gonna blow through this like in 2 seconds because it wasn't something I worked for. But if something that you worked for, you're gonna be like, well, I earned this. What? And then you would try to like capitalize on that. That's my watch. Let me know I need to go to bed because it's 2 o'clock right now. Yeah, it is 2 o'clock. I was like, it shouldn't be 2 o'clock on my watch because I don't think I changed it, but I did. Um, I'm not. Don't worry, I'm almost done. Um, so this is my mentality in life. The idea that I just grind. Like you always gotta work for everything that you want. Things shouldn't just be handed to anybody. In my personal opinion. So, um, one last thing. So Josh has me watching this thing called Dispatch from Nowhere, which is a show I believe is either on AMC or BBC. I think it's AMC. And there's this one character who like Simone, and at first it's a female, and then there's certain things that make you kind of go, wait. Like the first thing I noticed, like, oh, Simone has an Adam's apple. Simone's not a Simone. Simone's probably a Simon, or something like that. And I mentioned that out loud to Josh. I'm like, oh yeah, he's a really weird character, Simone. And he's like, Simone's not a he. I'm like, Simone's a he. And he's like, no, Simone's a transgender. And I'm like, the first time it is actually like, I know James has transgender friends and all that stuff, but I kind of like that's James's department. I don't really associate or even bother with those kind of people because it's not my circle. Not that I look down on those people at all, but like it's like okay, well it's kind of like drug dealers have druggy friends. That's their business. Don't let it come into like mine because I don't want to be nothing about it. Nakoma has her friends. Okay, cool. She has a little middle school, high school friends, whatever. That's cool. Put it over there. um, but whenever it came to Simone, I'm looking at Simone. I'm like, okay, so let me wrap my head around this. This is a person who was born a male, and because of a series of personal experiences, decided that okay, they feel better being a female. And I realized this is something that's been in the news for like a long time, like a couple, maybe a few years, but they've been around for like even like decades, if you will. And my mind's kind of like, okay, well, is this right? Is this wrong? Do I? And I'm simplifying my thought process because I'm trying to wrap it up too. The idea like, okay, well, is Simone a he? Because to me, Simone's a he, but Simone also looks like a she. But Simone is just Simone. People kind of go, you like, oh, you can identify yourself as whatever you want to identify yourself as. Keep in mind, when someone talks to me, it's Nicholas. When someone talks to James, it's James. But someone else be like, oh, why do you go by different names? Like, I don't. My name's Nicholas. And someone with DID, if they don't, if someone's looking at me like, oh, you got DID and don't understand what that means, like, oh, you're just changing your name. Like, you must not understand how this works. You must not have met my brothers before because if you have met them, you know they're not me. You know the way they talk and the things that they know. It has nothing. It's not comparable to me. And going back to the idea, like if I want people to treat me a certain way, then I need to be able to treat people that way too. So not knowing Simone as a person, not being like, hey, my name's Nicholas, how you doing, Simone? Knowing Simone from a third person perspective, like, okay, I'm watching on TV. I feel to my own standards that to respect somebody, I should be able to understand where they're coming from. And if I don't want to deal with that, then I don't deal with that. But if I do want to be like, okay, well, you're so a good person. And Simone is erratic at times and has her own shit that Simone's going through. But at the same time, I'm not exactly versed in the whole pronouns and everything else like that. But it kind of makes me think about how the world is changing. Chuck made a comment. I let Josh, because we didn't have any service, I let Josh borrow a couple movies um, with Tom Cruise. And Chuck goes into a political thing again. Like, the one thing, Tom Cruise is fucking crazy, but the one thing I appreciate Tom Cruise for doing, that he keeps his mouth fucking shut about politics. I'm like, so people aren't supposed to talk about politics now. If they're famous, they're not supposed to have an opinion. And my mind's like, okay, don't get into it, because we get into it. Like, not get into it, but like if you speak up about it, it's gonna be a conversation, and you don't got time for that. And I say it won't be a conversation. It'll be a dialogue with a monologue trying to push yourself in but failing. On my part, mostly. Everybody has the right to have a voice. Everybody, especially if it's true. Like if you like, oh, I want to avoid because I want to be a dick. I'm not about that. That's not like how I feel life should ever be. But at the same time, I feel that if someone has an opinion, if someone has something that they want to talk about, we should let them talk about it, and then see if it fits into the topic, or if it happens to fit into the environment. And if it does, then it does. If it doesn't, then they're gonna have to find the wrong group. I've always thought that marriage, heteros, no, homosexual marriages should kind of not be called marriages. Not because I don't think it's the same, because it isn't. It isn't the same. It should be called something else, in my opinion. That's just what I think. The idea that marriage was designed for male and female, is something that, like, okay, that makes sense. I understand it because it's what I've always understood. I'm not saying that homosexual people should not unify. But I think they should find a way to call it something else because it is something else. It is something unique. It is something that is not technically, it falls underneath the category of marriage, but it's not the same thing as a traditional marriage. Once again, not saying that people shouldn't get together. I'm saying that rather than saying, okay, well, we're gonna take your word and mean it like this, and I guess I've never been a fan of that. Even though I'm sure there is an argument there that, X, Y, and Z and everything else, but maybe until that argument is put in front of me, this is where my stance is with that. And I'm open minded. I'm definitely open minded. If someone wants to have a conversation with me about this, I'm more than happy to have one. But for right now, Simone is Simone. Yeah, she's asleep. Simone is Simone. I am Nicholas. And there goes my 50 some minutes. It's 52 minutes and 6 seconds right now. So I'm going to close it up. I'm actually running out of things to say. Oh, wait. Is there anything else? Let me look at my board. This month, I'm going to try to make a list of things that I actually want when I go to court. Because before, when it was going to be something I could talk to Xavier's mom, like, hey, whenever you're in the area, I want to be able to see my son. I have a place. We have specialists there to be able to handle situations, both of his special needs and mine. But with her saying no to that, I'm going to push for more stuff now. I'm going to push for, like, okay, well, we're going to do this thing on a monthly, if not like bi-weekly basis. Not to be an inconvenience to her. That's not my main goal. My main goal is like, okay, well, I was trying to do it nice before. You said no to the nicety, so now we're gonna have to ramp it up. So that's where my mind is. So I want to work with Annette, which is a specialist, one of the specialists that I have for the Legacy project. I'm gonna talk. Oh, I'm gonna talk it over with A, like, okay, what are we aiming for? What are we aiming for? And what does visitation mean when it comes to face? What am I expecting? What am I wanting? What am I going to ask of the judge? This is what I want. So, because I want to be prepared. I don't want to be caught with my pants around my ankles. Like, I don't know. I just know I want to see them. If I don't have a plan, they're gonna give me a plan. I don't want to be given a plan. I want to have my plan work. So, I'm totally smoking a cigarette wrong. One last thing, and I'm not sure how good or not good this is. When I see my specialist, Annette, who's also working in the Legacy Project when it comes to Xavier, because she deals with childhood trauma, with not just me, but also with other children. She also deals with children with, she specializes in children with special needs and what have you. It was me and my DID. Sorry, this is so much smoke. Let me move this over here. Um, with the DID, we have been trying this thing called EMDR, and EMDR is more like a form of hypnosis. And last time they said that another persona by the name of Null came out. No, you guys don't know me. You guys don't know my past, but Null is a persona. It was a project from Simon that was supposed to allow for certain switches to be controllable. And it turned out that someone tried to use it for not so good things. So it was scrapped. And I don't know much about it, but I think I know more about it than I'm leading myself to believe, which is weird. I don't know how to explain that. Drink soap. So next time that we talk, I think we're gonna. I think they want to explore, or at least find out more about Null, and hope that, because obviously since I'm still being haunted by Xavier's mom, or at least the memory of her, because it was so real. It was so real when I had that dream last night. It was like I had my wife back for a moment, and it meant so much to have her back and not the woman who is currently watching over my son. Not saying that she's bad, just she's not my wife anymore, obviously. And that's sad, but that dream last night is like I had her back, or at least she was close enough. Like she was almost like I could reach out and grab her and be like, I can still save you. We can still be a family. We can still find a way to make this work. But that's gone. It's nothing but a dream. And I can't let the ghost win. Which means 3 hours of sleep tonight, guys. Which means I need to find something to keep myself busy tonight. So, obviously not editing this video. And I still have the New Year's resolution. Yeah, I know it's March. So freaking behind on that. But, yeah. I still got work to do. So, thank you guys for watching. Once again, I'm pretty sure no one watches. But it's a good therapy for me. It lets me kind of get things off my chest. Certain things off my chest. Certain things I'm able to talk about anyway. So, that's all I got. I'll catch you guys later.